Well, my friends, it is 100% official now. After many months and years of speculation and rumors, Google has finally confirmed a huge shift in its software strategy, one that has massive implications for the future of the entire Android ecosystem, as it's been confirmed that ChromeOS and Android will be combined into a single platform. This is without a doubt one of the biggest moves Google has made for Android in a very long time, and the fact that it's somewhat officially confirmed is a pretty huge deal. So real quick, let me break down exactly what happened, why this may or may not be a good thing for all of us, and what this means for the future of our Android devices. And of course, this is a development that we will be following very closely as we get more information. So if you want to stay up to date, please consider subscribing to the 9 to 5 Google YouTube channel, because trust us, we will have a lot more videos on this topic in the future. Right off the bat, the most important piece of news here is the direct confirmation from Samir Samat, who is the president of the Android ecosystem at Google. In a recent interview with TechRadar, he directly stated that they would be, quote, combining ChromeOS and Android into a single platform. The context for this reveal is a bit strange, as the interview wasn't really about this merger in the first place. The conversation as a whole covered a wide range of topics, from developments in Android 16 to Gemini to Android XR, but during the interview, Samir noticed that the interviewer was using a MacBook Pro and an Apple Watch, which seemed to prompt a conversation that ended with Samir saying, quote, I asked because we're going to be combining ChromeOS and Android into a single platform, and I am very interested in how people are using their laptops these days, unquote. So I think this was more so just a casual, tongue-in-cheek conversation between the two, not a full-on major product announcement. Regardless, while this official confirmation is a major development, this isn't the first time that we've heard something about this before. We got our first hint issued via a blog post from the ChromeOS team back in June of 2024, where they announced that they would be bringing the, quote, Android-based tech stack into ChromeOS, which at the time just seemed like a small confirmation that some changes were happening. Then, as the year went by, we got rumors that Google was fully migrating ChromeOS over to Android, as it was reported Google wanted future Chromebooks to ship with the Android operating system. So this final piece of confirmation from Samir was the last piece I think a lot of us needed to fully realize how committed Google is regarding this merger. And the fact that it's somewhat officially confirmed is a pretty huge deal. Personally, I think this has the potential to be nothing but a good thing for the Android ecosystem, and possibly the best move Google has made for the platform in quite a long time, with a ton of long-term benefits. For one, it means Android will finally have a desktop class experience that can compete with the iPad, while also evolving beyond the current experience that you find on ChromeOS laptops. This is something Android has desperately needed, no questions asked. For as long as I can remember, Android manufacturers have tried their very best to bridge the gap for a desktop-like experience on Android with varying degrees of success, and without a huge initiative like this, it feels like Apple hasn't had any real competition when it comes to these mobile workspace devices, and I think this development is the change a lot of people have been asking for if it's pulled off correctly. Thankfully, we do know Google has been hard at work trying to get the experience right in this regard. We've recently learned that they've been working on implementing a real, genuine desktop experience within Android, which does look great, with features like more advanced desktop windowing for better multitasking, better external monitor support, and more integrated keyboard and mouse support, all aspects that are incredibly important to compete in this mobile productivity workspace. And rumor has it, they're working on a desktop class version of Chrome on Android that can install extensions from the Chrome Web Store, all huge wins for making Android a much more productive operating system. And alongside that, this merger of ChromeOS should also have a massive effect on the Android app ecosystem, and most importantly, address issues Android has had with the large screen format. By merging ChromeOS and Android, it creates a unified platform for developers to specifically target. Right now, we have a somewhat fragmented approach where developers have to consider phones, tablets, Chromebooks, Android XR, Android Auto, and so much more. Thankfully, Google is addressing this with their Adaptive Apps initiative that they showed off a lot at Google I/O, but I think this merger should make things a lot easier regardless. In theory, with Android and ChromeOS being combined, developers will only have to build one app for a single massive ecosystem, which should make it much simpler to support large screen devices. On top of that, if Google really wants to compete with laptops, it's pretty clear Android is going to have to support real, genuine desktop class apps, and if everything works out, developers should have the incentive considering so many devices could have the capability to run them. And lastly, this move is great for a more integrated ecosystem as a whole. According to Google's own words in that June 2024 blog post, this change should, quote, accelerate the pace of AI innovation at the core of ChromeOS, which to me is just a fancy way of saying that they want to combine internal resources, which makes perfect sense. I'm sure developing features across both ChromeOS and Android requires a lot of extra work, with separate teams building and adapting features for each platform that probably creates a sense of redundancy within Google if I had to imagine. So by merging the two and having future laptops and tablets run on a unified platform built on the Android framework, development should, in theory, be simplified quite a bit. I'm hoping the end result for us as users is more features across all devices, faster updates across all devices, and a more consistent experience, again, across all devices. As a whole, if this is done correctly, I think this is a great change that should have happened a long time ago. Don't get me wrong, I fully understand the point of dedicated ChromeOS machines these days, but Android has had a ton of potential for growth in this area for years now. Apple, for example, definitely sees this, as they've been steadily working towards making iPad OS more like a computer, most likely responding to customer feedback, and I really want Android to be able to compete in that same space. So ultimately, I'm glad Google is making this move now, and trust me, we will be keeping a close eye on this as time goes on. That said, I am very curious what's going to happen to existing ChromeOS devices, and thankfully, we do have a little bit of information that we can gather. According to that same June 2024 blog post, Google states that when the improvements to the tech stack are ready, they will, quote, provide a seamless transition to the updated experience. They also said that in the meantime, there will be no changes to their regular software updates and new innovations. To me, that means for the foreseeable future, we shouldn't expect any major disruptions as far as I'm concerned, but there are still a lot of unanswered questions regarding this transition. Will the current ChromeOS machines run just as well on the new platform? Will the move to Android change the typical decade-long support window provided by Google with ChromeOS? How, if at all, will the UI/UX change with this new update? And a big one for ChromeOS users today, how will this affect enterprise and education customers, as that seems to be a huge portion of their user base? Samat's clarification suggests the goal is to preserve the ChromeOS user experience the way that people are familiar with, but it remains to be seen exactly what that will look like running on a new Android foundation. So my friends, with all that said, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you guys are thinking. Are you excited about this merger? What features or experiences are you hoping to see from a unified Android and ChromeOS platform? Personally, I just can't wait to see what a properly realized Android tablet looks like, something that can natively run high-end desktop apps, all within the Android operating system would be incredibly interesting to see. I will say, this excitement does come with the full expectation that all the aspects we know and love about ChromeOS are still preserved, like its user-friendly UI, affordability, long battery life, high security standards, and so much more, but that is just me. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Until next time, this has been Jordan Floyd with 9to5 Google. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.